Since 2007, one man has dared to expose the sinister power players on all sides of the phony political spectrum. Armed with over 30 years of research knowledge of the paranormal, government conspiracies, geopolitics, secret and ancient societies, the esoteric arts, and much more. One man's quest for knowledge has become a mission for the enlightenment of all people. Broadcasting from the conspiracy ground zero of Dallas, Texas, this is The Global Reality with your host, Josh Reeves.
All right, guys, welcome to another edition of the show. I'm your host, Josh Reeves. It's Friday, March 7th, 2025. Back here with you for another edition of the show. Today is our last day for our fundraising efforts for the month. If you're a new listener, you're not someone who knows how it works here at the Global Reality, we don't have... I started the show back in 2007, so this is the 18th year on here. I started on Shoutcast streams and other networks and stuff, and then I started my own platform in 2009 because I kept being told I couldn't talk about certain subjects and talk about certain things because it would scare off the advertisers. But I wasn't getting any money from the advertisers anyway. I had to censor myself, and then eventually I got, fired from a bunch of different networks and stuff, so I started my own network in 2009, and I swore right out of the gates from that first day that I would not be beholden to commercial sponsors. And this was going to be a public platform which would be funded only by our listeners. And for 18 years it's worked. It's just... all of a sudden, last month, this month, it's been the worst month we've ever had. And we're in fear of going under. We have to raise $900 by 5 o'clock Central Standard Time today. Might be able to push it till 6, but I'm going to be on the street, guys. My work's going to be over, and I'm not going to make it more than a day or two at the most on the street. I'll be dead. Please don't let me die, guys. That's all I'm asking you. I told you my friend's starting a new business. It's going to be 4 or 5 months worth up and running, but I'm going to be breaking in the cash. And so if anyone you could just cover us until then, I'll pay somebody back. Hell, I'll pay you back double once the money starts coming in. Just please act today. Dayglow76@yahoo.com on PayPal. That's DAYGLOW76@yahoo.com to contribute with PayPal. To contribute with Cash App, it's Reeves Radio, all lowercase, one word, Reeves Radio on the Cash App. And on Venmo, it's capital J, Josh, dash, capital R, Reeves, dash, 61. If it asks you for the last 4 digits of my phone number, it's 7894. Okay? And just buy downloads from the download store. That's all you can do. You should be able to extended the coupon code. So if you use the code SPRING at checkout, you'll get 20% off in the download store. So just act now, please, guys. I'm so scared. I don't want to be on the street. Please help. Just came out with my... God, I can't even fucking remember what number it is. What number am I on now? I just released another new film. My sixth film already of 2025. 32 films last year. 6 films already this year. I've released The Drone Truth, Arthur C. Clarke Predicts the Future, Mystery Fog, The Fog of War, The Alaska Triangle, The Spellcasters Volume 6 Comedy. You can get a deal and get the entire 9-film Spellcaster series in the download store right now and catch a discount with that discount code COMEDY. And the newest one I released this week is Badfinger, Tragic Beauty, about the band Badfinger. It's only $10, so get a copy of that. Do whatever you can do. I'm working on my next film, which is called Our Thing, Cosa Nostra, the history of the mafia. This is the last day if you want to get your name as an executive producer in that film, or any name you want. Hell, you can put Joe Blow Cocksucker. I don't care. Just whatever name you want. If you want to be an executive producer on Our Thing, Cosa Nostra, today's the last day for that. Contribute $300, and that'll get your name as an executive producer in that film. Okay? Boy, I've been meaning to mention this all week. I forgot to mention it on the last show, and I was pissed. I was like, God damn, I forgot. Guys, guess who's back all of a sudden? Big Mike. Oh, Michelle Obama's nowhere to be found. All of a sudden, Big Mike's back in town. What the fuck? This guy's been missing since, right around the time Obama was elected in his first term in 2008. Now, all of a sudden, he's back again, and Michelle's nowhere to be found. And they're saying that her and Obama might be getting a divorce. Barack might be getting a divorce. And then all of a sudden, Big Mike's back in town. That's a man, baby. That's a man. I didn't believe that whole Michelle Obama's a man thing at first. But now I absolutely fucking do. Absolutely. Especially when you see the pictures. You see Big Mike's been missing all the time. They've had bounties, $1 million bounties out looking for Big Mike. No one's been able to find him. All of a sudden now, and this story came out, revealed Obama's new $18 million Hawaii hideout that they share with his closest friend amid divorce rumors. And it's a picture of him walking on the beach with Big Mike. All of a sudden, fucking Big Mike's back in town. Nah, she's detransitioning him back to fucking Big Mike, and that's why she can't. That's why she's nowhere to be found. Holy shit! Well, this seals it right here. All of a sudden, she's missing, and Big Mike's all of a sudden back. He hadn't been seen in fucking 15, 17, longer than that. I mean, it's like 16, 17 years Big Mike's been missing. All of a sudden, fucking Michelle's nowhere to be found, and Big Mike's back. She retransitioned back to Big Mike. That's what happened. Holy shit. You mean say these stories are loading slow today? Mysterious X-ray signal linked to planetary destruction. What? The mysterious X-ray emissions. God. Fucking stories only. Try to close out of a fucking pop-up and the whole article closes. The mysterious X-ray emissions from the Helix Nebula's central white dwarf, detected over 4 decades ago, may be the result of planetary debris accretion, according to new observers from the Chandra Observatory. Planetary destruction event has been detected in the Helix Nebula 650 light years from Earth in the constellation Aquarius. New observations from NASA's Chandra X-ray Observatory suggest that a white dwarf has torn apart a nearby planet, introducing an unusual X-ray signal. Fascinating. But 650 light years away, we're not in any danger. That hurt us, right? Okay, so who gives a fuck, really? Is that the same thing as this? Because this is something else. James Webb Space Telescope targets mysterious free-floating mass. What? The James Webb Space Telescope is helping scientists study a strange mass. Oh, only about 20 light years from... Oh, okay. Oh, that's 20 as opposed to 650. Traveling unpredictably through the cosmos, the mass is thought to be either a rogue planet or a failed star, also known as a brown dwarf, Only a close examination of the body's atmosphere will determine which one it is. It's moving what? It's just moving erratically? Well, that's weird. But again, we're not in any danger from that, right? Okay, so who really gives a fuck? This one really blew me away. Because it's the first time you've ever, besides, well, not ever, I wouldn't say, I guess maybe in public. I mean, all those documents and stuff have been there forever. But it's one of the first times you've seen this kind of thing. Texas state senator files bill prohibiting government from weather and climate modification. Wait, what? I thought you were a conspiracy theorist and a crackpot and a loon if you believed in weather modification. Listen, we've known they've been modifying the weather for 50, 60 years. They were dropping silver iodine on the Ho Chi Minh Trail in Vietnam. I mean, come on. Rumors of weather modification began circulating last summer and fall when Hurricanes Helene and Milton struck the southeastern United States. Texas State Senator Brian Hughes has authored a bill seeking to stop weather and climate modification activities by any government agency. This is huge, guys, because this is the first time you've ever seen anyone actually introduce legislation prohibiting the government from doing this. This is incredible. So, you know, they're taking it out of the realm. Listen, we've known that for years. Watch my film that I made last year called Whether or Not, Skies of Lies. I mean, I started studying chemtrails and weather modification in 2004, so that film was a 20-year research effort. You should definitely see that one. According to the bill's text, the proposed law would not allow government groups to engage in geoengineering, weather modification and control, or cloud seeding operations. Well, good luck with that, buddy. I mean, I appreciate the effort. I'm not going to lie. I just appreciate that someone's willing to even acknowledge that the government does geoengineering and cloud seeding and all that. That's just, you know, of course, this bill's going to go nowhere. There's no way this is going to be approved, but just the fact that someone's actually in a position of power, you know, saying that yes, this is going on, that's interesting. That's a huge step. Hughes' bill identifies geoengineering as the intentional injection, release, or dispersion using chemicals, chemical compounds, substances, or an apparatus in the atmosphere with the purpose of impacting the temperature, weather, or sunlight intensity. Yeah, and that's mostly what it is. SRM, solar radiation management, where they spray these. You'll notice when they're spraying these things, they'll put X's in front of the sun, and you'll see them wherever the sun is. That's what that is. Solar radiation management. You know, people for years have talked about chemtrails, and the term chemtrail is a misnomer anyway. It's not even an accurate statement, because it's not really even technically chemicals that they're spraying. It's this, I've talked about it in the past, chaff, CHAF. The military uses it for radar jamming and stuff like that, but it's a microfilament powder, it's like a powder substance. Sometimes you'll see these cobweb stuff coming out of the sky when they're spraying chemtrails. That's what that is. And years ago, the late great Jim Mars told me that he talked to a black ops pilot that told him that what they're spraying up there they're not spraying chemicals, they're spraying chaff, but they sprayed a layer of the atmosphere where all this nasty stuff sits up in the upper atmosphere. And that when this fiberglass chaff goes through that layer of the atmosphere and then comes down into the ground, to the ground level, and you breathe it, that's what makes you sick. It's not that they're spraying, they couldn't spray enough chemicals to make everyone sick. It's that they're putting an agent up there that has access to the stuff that's already, nasty stuff's already up there in the atmosphere, and brings it down to the ground level. That's what it is. And that's why when they've done analysis on this chaff and stuff, they found stuff like DDT in there and desiccated white blood cells, all this weird, wacky stuff. It's because that nasty stuff just sits up there in the upper atmosphere. Normally, we don't have access to it, so it doesn't hurt us or harm us. But when you spray that shaft through it and it comes down to the ground level, it comes down and we breathe it in. That's what it is. It gets in the water and everything else. So yeah, I had to say I'm quite impressed anyone's even acknowledging weather modification, climate geoengineering enough to even bring legislation up, even if it doesn't pass, So, and it had to be somebody from Texas to introduce it, Yep. We've been knowing about chemtrails down here in Texas for 25 years. Seems like everybody else was late to it, but we knew about it here in Texas back in the late 90s. Revealed the 5 countries quietly stockpiling nukes amid fears of World War III. Listen, they always talk about this stuff, World War III coming. The fact of the matter is, it doesn't benefit anybody. And everybody dying, including the country that starts this thing, it's not, it's not going to happen. I told you before, too, what you got to worry about is neutron bombs. That's what the AI is going to drop on us because it doesn't damage infrastructure and all that. Officially, 5 countries, China, Pakistan, India, Israel, and North Korea, have increased their nuclear stockpiles by over 700 warheads over the past 40 years. Yeah, past 40 years. Y'all making it sound like this is recent. The headline makes it sound like this is recent. 5 countries quietly stockpiling nukes amid fears of World War III. But then in the article it says, those countries have been doing it over 40 years. Get the fuck out of here. Oh, that's clear what this is. That's fucking fear-mongering. Exactly what that is. Yeah. That's always been there. That's fucking fear-mongering. Get the fuck out of here. A sensitive complex housing a CIA facility was on GSA's list of U.S. properties for sale. A now deleted list containing hundreds of United States government properties that General Service Administration plans to sell includes a sprawling, highly sensitive federal complex in Springfield, Virginia that houses a secretive Central Intelligence Service facility. GSA's efforts to sell hundreds of U.S. government properties is part of a blunt reshaping of the federal government and its workforce led by Elon Musk's so-called Department of Government Efficiency. It's funny to see the rats fleeing for the fucking exits when this shit's going down. It's so funny to me. Whether or not any of this shit's going to pay off or not, who knows, but I have to say, it is nice to see these fucking government rats scurrying away. I just put out, I was in the process of making this documentary on the band Badfinger. And while I was in the process of making this, the final surviving member of Badfinger passed away this week. Badfinger guitarist Joey Mullen dies at 77. It's just crazy how I was working on this film and he dies while I'm working on it. It's wild. Synchronicities always happen like that when I'm making a film. Doctors sound the alarm over rapidly growing cancers linked to risky sexual acts. This is fear-mongering, too. Listen. I think HPV, I think that was a biological weapon, just like any of this other stuff they've unleashed on us, like Lyme disease and all that. Now, they're saying people shouldn't suck dick or eat pussy anymore because they can get HPV. People have been sucking dick and eating pussy since time immemorial. And humans are still here. And, I have nieces and nephews who are young, and so, I hear from, like, my sister and stuff. They they try to give kids as young as 2, these young kids, HPV vaccines now. You're going to tell me that's not a scam by the pharmaceutical companies? Fuck that shit. Now eating pussy or sucking a dick is fucking considered a risky behavior? What the fuck? Why? This is depopulation bullshit, I'm telling you. You gotta remember, I'm Gen X, guys. I lived through the fucking, the whole AIDS thing. When everybody thought, you kissed a chick, you might get AIDS, or if a mosquito bit you, you might get AIDS. Are we going to really fall for this again? I mean, HPV is a thing, but I also think it was a concocted thing. Pig brains and oxygen chambers. How the super rich are biohacking their way to immortality. The longevity business is booming, and for high society, the quest for eternal life has become an expensive hobby. You know who predicted this? Zbigniew Brzezinski. One of the, top fucking evil puppet masters of all time. He's dead now, but he wrote a book back in the 1960s called Between Two Ages, The Rise of the Technotronic Era. This is in the late 60s. And he talked about in that book how eventually in the future, people wouldn't work jobs and whatnot to acquire wealth. Strictly, they would work these jobs to acquire the money to buy technology that would enhance and extend their life. He predicted this in the late 60s. Here we are. Automatic doors open to a cavernous lobby that could double as a spaceship. Reclining on white leather chairs are several young-looking men, aglow in the dark intravenous drips attached to their arms. And in one corner sits a man wearing what looks like a scuba mask attached to a computer. Machines beep. Doctors in lab coats murmur. This is Hum 2N in Chelsea, one of London's first biohacking centers, which offers cutting-edge treatments in the booming longevity business. That scuba mask is actually a reoxy device that mimics low oxygen conditions to stimulate lung and heart performance, as well as souping up your metabolism. So yeah, here we are. Zbigniew Brzezinski predicted this shit. It's here. Biohacking is exactly what he was talking about in that book in the late 60s. It's crazy. But, it's like I always say, it's easy to predict shit like that when you're the one that's bringing it in, I mean, fucking Henry Kissinger was drinking fucking stem cell smoothies and shit the last 15 years of his life. White House point man at Homeland Security shared martial law option post to keep Trump in office. What? This has got to be some bullshit, fear-mongering. The Trump administration's new point man for dealings with the Department of Homeland Security is a former far-right podcast host and election denier who once shared an article calling for martial law to keep Trump in office. Oh, he once posted that. He didn't post that now that he's working for, but he did years ago. Yeah, exactly what I figured. Just some, y'all bring up old shit to try and put it in the context of now, but not mentioning, oh, this was years ago when he did this. This isn't now. Okay. Fucking wacky. I'm trying to finish another film. I'm trying not to be on the street today, guys. So I've got to cut it short right there. I'm sorry. Dayglow76 at yahoo.com on PayPal. Reeves Radio, all lowercase, one word. Reeves Radio on the Cash App. Kevin J. Josh dash Kevin R. Reeves dash 61 on Venmo. And just buy downloads from the download store if that's all you can do. And use the code SPRING at checkout to get 20% off. If you want to get your name as an executive producer in our thing, Cosa Nostra, you got to contribute $300 by the end of the day today. All right? I love you guys. Please don't let me go under and let me be on the street. Please. And like I said, anyway, you cover us and don't let me go under. I'll get you back, later on this year once my friend's new business starts up. All right? I love you guys. Take care.